Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. First of all, let's thank to Allah who makes you for His blessing on us, and we convey our gratitude to our Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam by saying Allahumma salli ala Sayyidina Muhammad wa ala Sayyidina Muhammad. Peace be upon him. Okay, let me introduce myself. I'm Nurpia Sartika from Accounting Department, Fakultas of Ekonomi Andalas University. In this occasion, I would like to present my research that has a title Comparative Analysis of Financial Performance of Aceh Bank and MPPM before and after conversion into Islamic system. Before I start the presentation, I would like to say thank you very much to my thesis advisor, Mr. Dr. Efa Yonnedi, SA, MPPM, AKCE, CRGP, who has provided a lot of inputs, critiques, and suggestions for me so that I can finish this research properly. So let me start the presentation from the contents or topic of discussions. This research consists of 5 chapters. Chapter 1 is Introduction, Chapter 2 is Literature Review, Chapter 3 is Research Methodology, Chapter 4 is Result and Discussion, and the last chapter is Conclusion. Chapter 1, or Introduction, consists of several parts that I will explain. They are research background, research problem, and research benefit. Research background is about the reason why I choose this topic. So the first is coming from the 2 types of bank based on its operational system. They are conventional and Islamic system. So the main difference between both of these systems is the interest. Conventional use the interest to get the profit. However, instead of using interest, Islamic system use the profit loss sharing, because the interest is prohibited by the Islamic law or Islamic principle, and we can call it as riba. So the difference in both of operating system encouraged many empirical studies conducted to compare the performance of bank with conventional system and Islamic system. Several studies stated and examined that Islamic system is better, it has better performance than conventional system. And the second is about the conversion phenomena. So Islamic banks continue to experience the extraordinary growth that has prompted many conventional banks to change their system to Sharia, which is also known as conversion. And in this research, focus on the regional development bank, because in Indonesia, not only general bank but regional development bank also do the conversion to the Islamic system. And regional development bank has an important role to improve the standard of living of the society and provide financial financing for development in the region, raise funds, and save regional money in addition to carrying out banking business activities. And then for the financial performance, comparison of the value of financial ratios obtained from year to year, it can be useful to know whether banks have better or worse performance. And this research has 3 problems. First problem is, what is the financial performance of Aceh Bank before and after the conversion to Sharia? The second problem is, what is the financial performance of MTB Bank before and after conversion to Sharia? And the last problem is, how does the comparison of conversion effect between Aceh Bank and MTB Bank? Research benefit. Here, there are several parties that can take benefit from this research. First is for the Financial Service Authority or OJK. This research can give the consideration for the OJK in making policies about conversion program. Second, for the other BPD in Indonesia. This research can provide additional information that help other BPD in Indonesia to consider the conversion strategy. And for the stakeholder can take the alternative discourse for user of financial statement and practitioners of company organizer in making decision process. And the last, for the future researchers, it can use this research as reference for future research in a broad and in-depth manner related to the topic. Chapter 2 is Literature Review. Consists of theoretical framework, reviews research, and conceptual framework. So here there are several theories that I use in this research. First is the theory about the bank definition, where a bank is a business entity that collects funds from of deposit and distribute them to public in the form of credit and all other forms. The definition based on law number 10 1998. And second is from the function of bank. They are collecting funds from the community, distribute funds to the community, providing bank services, support international transactions and investment facilities. And type of banks based on the ownership is the regional development bank, and best operational system is conventional system and the Islamic system. And the theory about conversion. So the definition of conversion is transforming conventional prohibited activities into transactions that are in accordance with Islamic law. And next is about the financial performance. So the objective of the financial performance are to find out the success of bank financial management and to determine the ability of bank to utilize all assets held in generating profit. And also there are several theories from the financial ratio analysis. They are return on asset, return on equity, operational efficiency ratio, non-performing loan, loan deposit ratio, and capital adequacy ratio. It is explained in my research draft. And here, several previous research that I use as the reference, coming from Iqbal in 2001, Al-Atiyah 2007, Moy in 2008, Ika and Abdullah 2011, Siraj and Pillai 2012, Al-Haris et al. 2013, Amjad et al. 2013, and in 2014 there is Errol et al., Khan et al. In 2016, Hazan 2016, Sylvia 2019, and Al-Harbi 2020. And this is the conceptual framework of this research from the Aceh Bank and MPPM Bank before conversion and after conversion, and then compare the financial performance that use the several variables. They are return on asset, return on equity, operational efficiency ratio, non-performing loan, loan deposit ratio, and capital adequacy ratio. Chapter 3, Research Methodology. It is about research design, population and sample, research variable, data collection technique, and data analysis method. So the research design is comparative study using a quantitative approach. And the population is the Regional Development Bank in Indonesia, and the sample of this research is the Regional Development Bank that has fully converted into Sharia. In this case, Aceh Bank and MPPM Bank as the first and second regional development bank that convert their system into Sharia. And the variable of this research is return on asset, return on equity, operating efficiency ratio, non-performing loan, loan deposit ratio, and capital adequacy ratio to measure the financial performance. And the method in collecting the data, actually this research is use the secondary data that obtained from the official website of the bank that can provide information on company data that is used as research sample. And the method to analyze the data is financial ratio analysis. Chapter 4 is result analysis and discussion. Consists of Aceh Bank financial performance part and TB Bank financial performance and part of discussion. Before I explain about the result, I would like to give the brief description about Aceh Bank. So Aceh Bank is a regional development bank whose majority shares are owned by the regional government, consisting of the provincial government of Aceh and the government of regencies and municipals in Aceh. Conversion to Islamic financial institution is Aceh Bank effort to welcome communities' need in financial activity consistently with the norms of Sharia. Aceh Bank officially start operation in all branch offices on October 2016. And this is the table of the Aceh Bank total asset, financing, and third-party funds during recent 5 years, from 2015 until 2019. And here are the result of the Aceh Bank financial performance. First is return on asset. Aceh Bank has higher return on asset before conversion than after conversion. It means there is a decreased return on asset of Aceh Bank. The decrease in return on asset after conversion is caused by a decrease in income before tax, while the total asset owned by Aceh Bank continue to increase. And for the return on equity, Aceh Bank also has the higher return on equity before conversion than after conversion. The decline in the return on equity at Aceh Bank was caused by growth in net income that was smaller than the growth in total equity. The third is coming from the operational efficiency ratio. Aceh Bank has the lower operational efficiency ratio before conversion and higher OER after conversion. The higher OER indicates that Aceh Bank is not operating efficiently because the large amount of operational costs that must be incurred by the bank to obtain operating income. And for the non-performing loan, Aceh Bank has the higher non-performing loan than after conversion. It means there is a decline in the non-performing loan. The decline in the non-performing loan ratio was due to the decline in the number of non-performing loan to Aceh Bank after conversion, while total loan continued to increase. Next, for the loan deposit ratio, Aceh Bank experienced the decrease after conversion. Actually, the decrease of LDR or the less LDR, it is the better performance of the bank. However, the decrease in loan deposit ratio of Aceh Bank was below the safe limit set by Bank Indonesia. So it indicates that a decrease in financing after conversion and more idle funds. And for the capital adequacy ratio, Aceh Bank has lower CAR before conversion than after conversion. It means there is an increase of the CAR, and the increase was due to the higher capital and risk-weighted asset after conversion. And next, for the NTB Bank's financial performance, also I would like to give the brief description about NTB Bank. So shareholder ownership of NTB Bank Syariah is the government of West Nusa Tenggara Province and all regency and municipal governments in the West Nusa Tenggara Province. NTB Bank officially started Sharia operation in all branch offices in 24 September 2018. Unlike Aceh, which make regulation for its Sharia economy, NTB has advantage that can be highlighted, including the large share of Islamic banking in NTB, the maintained NPF ratio, and the significant growth of Islamic asset. And also here there is a table that shows the NTB Bank's total asset, financing, and third funds from the 2015 until 2019. And for total asset, there is an increase year by year. Financing also experienced an increase, and third-party funds also experienced an increase. And here the NTB Bank's financial performance from the several ratio. First is return on asset ratio. NTB Bank has the lower return on asset after conversion, before conversion. It means there is an increase of return on asset of NTB Bank. The increase in ROI at NTB Bank was caused by a decrease in total asset, which did not really affect the income before tax, because it can be seen that the decrease in income was not very significant after conversion. And for the return on equity, NTB Bank also have the lower return on equity before conversion. It means there is an increase of the return on equity of NTB Bank, and there is an increase in income after tax that is greater than before the conversion, so that it has an effect on ROE, which has a slight increase of the return on equity. And for the operational efficiency ratio, NTB Bank has the higher OER before conversion than after conversion. It means there is the decrease of the conversion effect, and the decrease in OER was due to a decrease in operating expense and operating revenue, with the difference between the two that was greater before the conversion. And for non-performing loan, NTB Bank experienced slightly lower NPL before conversion than after conversion. This result indicates that NTB Bank more risky and less solvent in providing loans and recovering bad loans after conversion. For loan deposit ratio, NTB Bank experienced lower LDR before conversion. It is indicated that the performance is better before conversion. The increase caused by there is an increase in total loan, meanwhile the total deposit is decreased. For the capital adequacy ratio of NTB Bank is slightly lower before conversion than after conversion. The increase in CAR was due to an increase in capital and decreased risk-weighted asset. Hence, the higher CAR value, the better the bank financial performance is seen from the aspect of capital. And here are the discussion part. First is return on asset comparison. So there is difference in the effect of the conversion on the financial performance of Aceh and NTB Bank after conversion to Syariah. NTB Bank experienced an increase in ROA after conversion, while Aceh Bank experienced a decrease. For return on equity, it has similar effect, and also there is difference in the conversion effect of Aceh Bank and NTB Bank. ROE of Aceh Bank experienced a decrease, while ROE of NTB Bank experienced an increase after conversion. For the OER, or operational efficiency ratio, again, there is difference in the conversion effect of Aceh Bank and NTB Bank in terms of OER. NTB Bank has better performance after conversion than Aceh Bank, because Aceh Bank, from the aspect of efficiency measure using OER, after the conversion the system into Sharia. And for the non-performing loan comparison, also there is difference in the conversion effect of Aceh Bank and NTB Bank. In terms of NPL, NTB Bank has better performance in NPL before conversion, while Aceh Bank performance is better after conversion. For the LDR comparison, there is also conversion effect between both of these banks, where Aceh Bank has lower percentage, while NTB Bank has a higher percentage of LDR after conversion. And for the capital adequacy ratio, NTB Bank has the same conversion effect as Aceh Bank. NTB Bank and Aceh Bank experience an increase in CAR after conversion. Okay, here the last chapter is the conclusion. Consists of conclusion, limitation, and recommendation. There are three conclusions of this research that is coming from the research problem that we'll solve. First is Aceh Bank has better financial performance in terms of NPL and CAR after the conversion, while ROA, ROE, OER, and LDR of Aceh Bank were better before conversion. The second conclusion is NTB Bank has better financial performance in terms of ROA, ROE, OER, and CAR after the conversion, while in terms of NPL and LDR were better before conversion. The last conclusion is the comparison between Aceh Bank and NTB Bank after conversion only has the same conversion effect on the capital adequacy ratio and loan deposit ratio. Meanwhile, other variables has different conversion effect, where Aceh Bank is superior in terms of an NPL, while NTB Bank is superior in terms of ROA, ROE, and OER. And here is the limitation of the research. There are several limitations. First is the object of this research are only use Aceh Bank and NTB Bank as the first and second regional development bank in Indonesia that convert to Sharia. The second limitation is this study limits the time period used in Aceh Bank only 3 years before and after conversion, while NTB Bank is only 1 year before and after conversion. The third limitation is this study only used several financial ratios variable, namely return on asset, return on equity, operational efficiency ratio, non-performing loans, loan deposit ratio, and capital adequacy ratio. And the fourth limitation is there was no consideration of macroeconomic factors in analyzing and interpreting the result of the test data that might affect the performance of Aceh Bank and NTB Bank during the observation period. And the last but not the least, we used too few sample limit the study to using statistical tests so that it cannot be drawn to broader conclusion. And the recommendation of this research for the future researcher can replicate this research model and then comparing other general bank or regional development bank that have also converted to the Sharia system. And for the further research, is expected to use other measure in comparing the performance of conventional Islamic bank or conventional bank that convert to Islamic bank, such as measuring operating efficiency, governance, leverage, or employment. Okay, that's all of my presentation. I'm sorry for any mistake, and thank you for your attention. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.